good afternoon. Allison Luganich here from Basham Shaw. Wanted to do a Facebook Live for you this afternoon about the pros and cons of filing for citizenship. I do a lot of consults, get a lot of calls about, well, do I need to get citizenship? What are the benefits? Why should I do this? So wanted to share my experiences in dealing with my clients. I will add the caveat, I am a U.S. citizen by birth on U.S. soil, so I have not myself naturalized, but again, I do help a lot of my clients work out these issues and make the best decisions themselves. So to briefly talk about the requirements for U.S. citizenship, you need to have lawful permanent residency or green card status for 3 years if you're married to a U.S. citizen, or 5 years for everyone else. And good morning, Atul. Glad you are joining us today. Well, actually, it is good morning for you where you are right now. Glad that you are joining in. The laws for the regulations for filing for citizenship do allow you to file 3 months prior to meeting that 3 or 5 year anniversary. So you can file at 4 years, 9 months, or 2 years, 9 months if you qualify based on your marriage to a U.S. citizen. And that's just something that can help get the background checks processing and things moving forward while you're waiting for your interview to be scheduled. So by all means, keep that 3-month window, that 90-day period prior to that 5 or 3 year anniversary. There are other ways to qualify for citizenship sooner. That is if you have served in the U.S. military or are currently in the military, were honorably discharged as a veteran, but that is a topic for another day. If you think you meet one of those qualifications, give me a call. We'll talk about that. The other basic requirements, there is a 3-month jurisdictional requirement for citizenship, meaning that you must live in the state where you are filing for 3 months. So if you have recently moved, you just need to wait that 3-month window. You need to be a person of good moral character for 5 years immediately prior to the application. That's not exactly defined, but making sure you've been filing your taxes, you're paying your alimony or child support, you are not committing crimes, showing up to court if you do get traffic tickets, things like that just show you're a law-abiding citizen, a person of good moral character. There is also a physical presence requirement. So although you need green card status for 5 years, you must be physically present in the United States for half of that 5-year period, so 2.5 of the last 5 years. And finally, there is an English and civics requirement. So you must be able to demonstrate that you can read and write a sentence in English, and you can answer questions on the history and government of the United States. There are 4 exceptions to those English and civics requirements. The first 3 are based on age and length of time you've had your green card. So if you are 55 and older and had the green card for 15 years, or if you are 50 and older and have the green card for 20 years, you can waive the English reading and writing requirement and use an interpreter in your interview. You still have to answer the history and civics questions, but again, in your native language through an interpreter. If you are 65 and older and had your green card for at least 15 years, you not only waive the English requirement, but with this history and civics questions, you answer only 20 from the list of 100. So there are less questions to study, less information to remember. The 4th exception to the English and civics requirement is if you have some sort of physical, mental, or medical disability that prevents you from being able to maintain the information, hold on to it in your brain, study, you can request that disability waiver. That typically is done through your doctor, mental health care physician, things of that nature. It's something that's signed and brought to the interview with you. So now that I've gone through the basic requirements, what are the pros or possible cons of filing for citizenship? The biggest pro, something that I get asked almost every single consult that people don't seem to know, the biggest pro is that you can maintain dual citizenship if your home country allows it. The United States does allow dual citizenship. For some reason, a lot of people don't know that. So long as your home country also allows dual citizenship, you will be able to keep both passports. You can, depending where you're traveling, you can use either passport. I always say use the passport that is stronger in the country where you are traveling to, where you may not need a visa. You can live abroad. So a lot of people end up naturalizing because they're here, they're working, they have their green card status, and maybe they want to retire abroad. Well, by becoming a US citizen, you are always leaving that ability to return without issue open. Whereas if you have a green card, and if you've watched some of my prior videos, we've talked about this a lot for people stuck outside due to COVID-19 right now. Green card holders can't be outside the country for more than really recommended every 6 months. So they're making repeated return trips and they can't really reside and move back abroad without risking their status. Once you become a US citizen, there is no requirement that you remain in the United States for any length of time, but you'll always have that passport, so if and when you're ready to come back, you can. Um, you never need to renew it. So, green cards, every 10 years, you're paying $540. Fees keep going up to renew that status. Obviously, if you're a US citizen, you don't need to do anything to maintain or renew that. You will have to renew your passport every either 8 or 10 years. It's $100. That's nothing compared to the green card renewal. The one biggest con, the only really negative that I could come up with, because I do think so long, especially for those countries that allow the dual nationality, there's really no downside to becoming a U.S. citizen. The one negative that I can speak of are possible tax implications. So when you become a U.S. citizen, you are obligating yourself to file a yearly, at least a federal tax return if you're living abroad. Now, if you're living abroad and you're earning income abroad, most of the time you can get a foreign income tax credit for a certain threshold of income. So you're not actually necessarily paying US taxes, but that is one implication. Keep in mind, however, green card holders have that same implication. So this would only become an issue if you're considering you're leaving work, you're retiring, and you never really want to come back to the United States. Probably don't want to pursue citizenship. Getting back to the pros, though, the biggest one that I wanted to mention right now, obviously, US citizens can vote in all elections in this country. We are living in very interesting times politically. We are living in very interesting times for immigrants. There are a lot of things in our legal landscape that are changing due to the current administration. You can use that voice. You can vote. Obviously, COVID-19, we're in the beginning of June. We have elections in November this year, just a few months away. Due to COVID-19, processing times are slowing down, and it may not be possible if you file now to become a citizen in time to register and vote in this election, but absolutely in future elections. I don't even care who you vote for, but as immigrants, you have helped shape who we are as Americans and what this country is, and you absolutely should use your voice. And that is the biggest benefit, in my opinion, of becoming a US citizen. If you are at all interested in what these qualifications are, talking about the pros and cons and as they fit into your case specifically, please give me a call. I'd be happy to sit down with you and we can discuss and talk about what the application process looks like for you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day.